tuned.
I'm Jenny Beck, co-chair of the Legal Aid Practitioners Group, and it's my delight and honour to welcome you to the Lockdown LALYs. LAPG have been proud to host the LALYs for the last 17 years, and this year is going to be no different. It's going to take more than a pandemic to dampen our spirit. I've never been prouder to be a legal aid lawyer than I have been during this most difficult of years. So, to the colleagues that we rely upon, to our friends, family and fellow travellers, I thank you. To our clients, I say it's an honour to serve you. To the bureaucrats who hobble us and the policymakers who disbelieve our warnings, I say shame on you. You can do better. Believe us when we say that there'll be no social justice in this country without us. To the 34 LALY finalists, I say this is your evening. We're here to honour you and your achievements. Whether you're a winner or a runner-up, we celebrate you. This may be a virtual ceremony, but our pride in you has never been more real. I pay tribute to the LALY sponsors for their solidarity with legal aid lawyers, and I thank the wonderful LALY judges and Team LALY for everything you've done. You're awesome. I'm now going to pass you on to Team LALY for a few words before passing you on to our wonderful compere for the evening, Anna Jones. Thank you.
Have you started?
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't hear?
Just to get the phone working.
Although we can't be physically together today,
We're together in spirit.
Coming together as one community of social justice lawyers
to celebrate the life-changing power of our work.
Fighting for access to justice.
Improving the lives of ordinary people.
Protecting the rights of the most vulnerable.
Every one of us in Team LALY
Would like to wish you a warm, socially distant.
Welcome to the first ever Virtual LALY Awards 2020.
Hello, good evening. I'm Anna Jones and I'm coming to you live from Wapping in East London. Thank you for joining me for the first ever virtual Legal Aid Lawyer of the Year Awards. As you can tell, I've got a small audience here, but obviously most of you are at home. And now, normally at this stage of the evening, it's the finalists who are feeling a bit nervous, but I suspect this year it's the LALY organisers who are feeling the most jittery, hoping that everything goes according to plan. Well, to reassure you, we've got an amazing crew here. I've got every confidence that it really will be all right on the night. Now, we're going to encourage you to join in using the YouTube chat box to the right of your screens, and do tweet us photos as well, showing us how you're watching the lockdown LALYs wherever you are. And I'm going to be sharing a few of those tweets throughout the ceremony, so please just keep them coming in. We're also going to be speaking to some of the winners later on. I'll be doing that just here behind me. But here, first of all, are some of our finalists when we caught up with them just before the show. There they all are, ready and waiting, feeling excited. Well, and I want to say congratulations to all of you for being on this shortlist tonight. Now, as always, I'm going to have a little bit of help on stage. This year, the LALY organisers and I feel incredibly privileged to be joined by someone who has more reason than most to understand the importance of having an expert lawyer in your corner to fight for justice for your family. I'd like to welcome David Challen. Now, as most of you will know, David's mother is Sally Challen, who spent 9 years in prison for murder before being released in 2019 after a legally groundbreaking appeal. So, David, it really is good to have you here tonight. You campaigned, of course, you led that campaign for your mum's release. So, first of all, how is she? How is Sally doing?
Yeah, she's doing amazing. She's building a new life, new freedom that she's never had for most of her life, and that's thanks to legal aid lawyers and the work that Harriet Wistridge, Justice for Women and Claire Wade have done. That has really changed our lives incredibly so. She wouldn't have been out for another 10 years, so, you know, so thankful.
Well, yes, and Harriet Wistridge, a lot of the viewers tonight will know her, a former LALY winner, of course, so hello to her if she's watching now. And how big a decision was it for you and your family to pursue this campaign for justice?
Huge decision, I think, for people to go back into an appeal process and trust new lawyers and the efforts they can do with legal aids, you know, it's a big step, and I think you know, we were really entrusted with that. It was a long road, but it shows the fight for justice was more than worthwhile to get my mum back, but to give voice to so many more victims and really help create more awareness for what was coercive control in our case. So it's made a huge difference to many lives.
Well, it's a huge honour to have you with us tonight. Really pleased to have you standing next to me, and I'll talk to you a little bit later. But it is now time for our first tweets of the evening. Huge amount of excitement around tonight, lots of good wishes coming in all the time. So I've already got some tweets that I can share with you this evening. We saw Chelvan just now in the LALY judges welcome team. Let me introduce you to his two dogs, Nomos and Veritas, known to everyone on Twitter apparently as the dogs of law, tweeting to ask who will wear the crown tonight. Such a good question. Wishing all our finalists the very best of luck there. We've also got another tweet here from the secret barrister. We've had a message of support from, obviously, the answer on Twitter to the Scarlet Pimpernel, the secret barrister. He's saying there, huge congratulations to all the legal aid heroes gearing up for tonight's LALY Awards. You are all brilliant. Have a spiffing night. And also, there we go, there's a cake. Legal aid superstar Sue James has made this cake to celebrate the 3 law centres who are up for awards tonight. Fantastic cake. Thanks very much indeed for that. So do keep those tweets coming in, won't you? And I'll read some of them a little bit later. But now, let's get on with the awards, shall we? I've got 12 award categories and 34 finalists to tell you about this evening. And before we start, the judges have asked me to say that they had some incredibly tough decisions to make this year because the standard of entries was simply so high. And their message to all the finalists is, whether you're a winner or a runner-up this evening, what you've achieved to be shortlisted is phenomenal, and we celebrate every single one of you tonight. Okay, so the 12 award categories will be presented in the following order this evening. The first one is mental capacity, and that's a new award for 2020. Our second award is immigration and asylum, followed by legal aid newcomer, which is always an incredibly strong and inspiring category. The fourth award is for criminal defence, then legal aid barrister, family legal aid firm, not-for-profit agency, regional legal aid firm, not-for-profit agency, another new award this year. The ninth award is our social welfare law award, followed by public law, then legal aid team, and finally outstanding achievement, which really is the highlight of this very special evening. And so we're on to our first award of the night, which is mental capacity, and it's sponsored by Bidwell Henderson. And there's a shortlist of 2 in this highly specialist area of law. Our first nominee is Sheree Green of Green Church Legal. Now, Sheree runs her own firm in Stoke-on-Trent and has a nationwide reputation for her court of protection expertise and her dedication to protecting older people and other vulnerable adults from financial abuse. She provides training to medical and social care professionals and is driven by a fierce determination to protect and empower the people that she represents. Sheree is described as just exceptional and fantastic with clients. A fellow mental capacity lawyer says, if I ever needed help, I would choose her. She doesn't get people's backs up, but she will not let a point go. And the second finalist for this award is Katie Moulton of Irwin Mitchell. Katie qualified in 2017 and her caseload is almost exclusively court of protection, health and welfare cases. She takes an holistic approach to clients and puts them at the heart of all that she does. Just one example, when Katie noticed that an angry and withdrawn client had scrawled messages on his hospital room wall about the distress and pain he felt, Katie asked him if she could take pictures of what he'd written to ensure that his feelings of overwhelming hopelessness were taken into account when decisions were made about his care. And so, the winner of the LALY Award for Mental Capacity is
Sheree Green.
And so I'm hoping that we are joined by our winner, Cherie Green. Shall we see whether she's there? Cherie, there you are. Huge congratulations. Oh,
Thank you so much.
I'm very impressed you've managed to blow up 3 balloons in that 10 seconds before I announced the award. Very well done. I know this might feel a bit surreal. It's the first time we've done it, but it is really lovely to be able to talk to you tonight. And just I wanted to ask you a few questions about your work, because obviously it's inspired so many people. And firstly, to ask you about the elderly people that you work with. I know there are a number of them, and this must have been a particularly difficult time for them, given the coronavirus pandemic. How has it been?
Well, we managed very well until around mid-April, and then sadly we lost our first client to COVID-19, and then regrettably one a week for the next 7 weeks. So it's been very hard for families. It's been very sad. It's been challenging trying to support people through that. And we're hoping that the worst is over, but it has been a very sad time and a very difficult time.
Well, I'm so sorry to the families of all those clients of yours, and also to you as well. That's very tough to work through all of that. But let me just move it on to a happier note, because a fellow mental capacity lawyer said that you'd be the lawyer they'd want if ever they needed help, and that is great praise, isn't it? So what is it that you would say that you try to bring to your work?
I think, along with Katie, who I was honoured to be shortlisted with, I think the sort of work we do requires an awful lot of soft skills. You just need to be interested in people and to want to get alongside them. And I think that's something that legal aid lawyers who work within mental capacity find themselves doing an awful lot. It's a very interesting, no 2 days are the same, and it's incredibly a great privilege to work with people who have impaired capacity, and just to see them to be supported to make the best decisions that they can for themselves, or to work towards the best outcomes for those who can't make decisions for themselves.
Well, clearly your clients are very lucky to have you, and we all wish you very warm congratulations. I hope you can go and get yourself a drink now. Well done, Cherie Green.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Fantastic stuff. Let's move on to our second award of the evening, shall we? It's for immigration and asylum law, and it's sponsored by Doughty Street Chambers. Now, an incredibly strong category this year with 3 extremely high calibre finalists. The first is Julian Bild of Anti-Trafficking and Labour Exploitation Unit. Now, Julian has over 20 years' experience in immigration law, and in that time has helped train wave after wave of legal aid lawyers. He's described as an immigration celebrity, although would never describe himself in that way, and is praised for being exceptionally patient and generous with his time. One client says, even in your darkest moments, and I have had so many, he's always found a way to put a light there, to encourage, saying it'll be okay, and it always has come out to be okay. Our second finalist is Nicola Burgess of the Joint Council for the Welfare of Immigrants. Nicola is an exceptional lawyer and an energetic campaigner for migrants' rights. She specialises in complex, urgent deportation cases, often involving vulnerable clients who have lived in the UK for many years, and she also acts for victims of trafficking and torture. Her work is fast-paced and demands not just high-level expertise, but also great tenacity and resilience. Nicola provides invaluable support, not just to her JCWI team, but the immigration and asylum legal sector more generally, through her writing and work for the Immigration Law Practitioners Association. Our third finalist is Tori Sisher from Sutovich Hartigan, and Tori has been at the forefront of challenging the Home Office over attempts to forcibly remove Iraqi asylum seekers who fear ill treatment if they are returned. Colleagues describe her as relentless and the most unselfish lawyer I know. One says, she changes lives, she holds the Home Office to account, and she never wavers. A client says, she treated me as a fellow human being and not just another problem. Another client says, Tori saved my life. She had me released from detention and took me away from that hell. She never gave up on me. And the winner is...
Tori Sisher.
So we're joined by our winner, Tori Sisher. She joins me now. There she is, wearing a fabulous, can we call that a crown? I think we'll call that a crown. Very, very well done. Oh my goodness. You've got a top team of party celebrators with you. Tori, wonderful achievement tonight. Now, in your work, we've heard there from the tributes paid to you, you're clearly both determined but also compassionate. Is that a difficult balance to strike sometimes?
It is. I mean, the work that I do, but to be fair, all legal aid lawyers do, is so important, and we put our hearts and souls into it. But when you win and you help, one person, a client, it just makes all the difference. And that's what keeps us going, just to help each person one at a time and to make a difference in their lives.
And so many clients pay tribute to you. We heard some of them in the testimonials there. For you, is there one particular case, one particular client that comes to mind when you receive an award like this?
Many come to mind, but I do a lot with clients who are mentally ill and mentally unwell, and you see them before, and sometimes they're not even able to speak or to express themselves or to really give you the information that they need for their case. And then you win their case and you see them maybe, a few months later or a year later, and they're just a completely different person. And it just really, warms the heart to know that you can make such a difference in their lives.
And you act for a lot of Iraqi people, don't you? How did that come about?
Well, I started with one, and that snowballed, and I ended up taking on the country guidance case. We appealed it to the Court of Appeal. And I got stuck in the country guidance case loop for a bit. And once you help one person, they always want to refer their friends to you, and they want you to do what you did for them for their friends. So it's just, it just really snowballed from there, and hence the crown as Queen of Iraq.
It looks fantastic. I'll let you go and celebrate. Tori Sisher, huge congratulations. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so we're on to our third award tonight for Legal Aid Newcomer, which is sponsored by Friends of LALY 20. And I do want to say a very special thank you to the 43 people who donated to sponsor this award, which officially makes them Friends of LALY 20. Now, we've got a short list of 4 in this always really hard-fought category. Firstly, Arfan Bhatti of Oliver Fisher. Now, Arfan is a housing lawyer. When he was just 2 years qualified, he became Oliver Fisher's lead solicitor for its Grenfell Tower clients, representing survivors and bereaved families at the inquiry into the disaster. Clients praise his calmness and his communication skills. A couple who turned to him after losing their home in the Grenfell fire said, speaking to Arfan was like talking to your closest friends or family. A barrister said he's creative and ambitious when advancing his clients' interests and unafraid to bring novel or contentious points. Our second finalist is Miranda Butler of Garden Court Chambers. Miranda is a public law barrister specialising in immigration and asylum law with particular expertise in trafficking and unlawful detention cases. She was called to the bar in 2013 and has worked on a string of strategic cases, including last year's successful challenge over the 45-day cut-off for support for victims of trafficking, and over the government's failure to honour the Dubs Amendment in relation to children seeking asylum. One supporter says right now the legal aid sector needs people like Miranda. She's not there for the short term, but for the long haul. Our third finalist is Daniel Cooper of Imran Khan and Partners. Now, Daniel qualified in 2019 and has already notched up an extraordinary range of public law successes. While still a trainee, he acted at the 3-week jury inquest into the deaths of 5 men killed when a wall collapsed at a recycling plant in Birmingham. Funding was limited, so to save costs, Daniel stayed with one of the families during the inquest. Daniel's current cases include representing 60 abuse survivors in the Lambeth Children's Home Redress Scheme. Imran Khan QC says Daniel has shown exceptional ability to deal with emotionally and intellectually demanding cases. And our fourth finalist in this category is Siobhan Taylor-Ward of Merseyside Law Centre. Now, Siobhan is a dedicated social welfare lawyer and a dogged campaigner for justice in the broadest sense, whether through Young Legal Aid Lawyers, where she leads on promoting social mobility and diversity, or by co-founding a tenants' union to protect the rights of renters in Liverpool. She qualified as a solicitor earlier this year, specialising in housing, benefits and asylum law. One barrister says she has all the makings of a really transformative legal aid lawyer who will be an asset to the sector. And a colleague says she is passionate and fearless. And so, 4 nominees. Who is the winner? Let's find out. David?
And the winner is Siobhan Taylor-Ward.
So let's talk to Siobhan Taylor-Ward. She joins me now. Where are you, Siobhan? There you are, and you've got a little friend with you too. Congratulations. Yeah, huge congratulations, very well done. And I know you've overcome a certain number of hurdles to become a social justice lawyer. So what drove you on, especially when things were quite tough? What motivated you?
I think I just really wanted to help change society. I've worked with vulnerable people for a long time. I knew how difficult things could be for them, and I just wanted to do the best that I could to help the world be a bit of a better place.
Well, you clearly have done amazing work, has been honoured tonight, and you are a newcomer to legal aid work. What would your advice be to anyone who's thinking of going into that line of work?
I always say that you need to be honest with yourself. It's hard, it's not amazingly paid, but the payoff is enormous. And if you're dedicated to it, it's really worth the hard work. Just keep going.
Really good advice. And are we allowed to be introduced to the child that you're with there? We would love to meet them. Hello, I don't know if you can see me. I can see you.
I can't see you really, but
anyway.
This is my little boy, Alice, yeah.
Hello, Alistair. Lovely to meet you. You must be very proud of your mum. Yes. And can I just say, I'm really impressed that your balloons match your outfits, both of you. That's really good planning. Anyway, very many congratulations, Siobhan. You've done such a great job. Well done tonight.
Thank you so much.
And so we're on now to our 4th award of the evening, which is for criminal defence, sponsored by DG Legal. The first finalist for this award is Katie Hanson of Welsh & Co. Now, Katie is managing director of her small firm in rural West Wales, which has doubled in size since she took it over 3 years ago. She's made it her mission to provide local people with high-quality criminal defence and other legal services. Katie invests heavily in her staff and believes in the importance of bringing on the next generation of lawyers. She passionately believes that everyone has an inherent right to justice and is a vocal and vociferous champion for legal aid in her local and national media. Our second finalist in this category is Antonia Kim Charles of NTC Solicitors. Now, Antonia is described as a brave and fearless fighter for her clients. She has over a decade of experience in criminal defence work and specialises in complex, serious criminal cases involving murder, firearms, sexual offences and drugs, many of which attract media attention. Antonia is trusted and respected by her clients because of her expertise and determination to get the best possible result for them. Alongside her heavy-duty caseload, she finds time to act as a mentor to young local people. And next up is Philippa Southwell of Bird Solicitors. Philippa is a solicitor advocate and head of her firm's human trafficking and modern slavery department. She has unmatched expertise in her field and has acted in hundreds of cases involving trafficking and forced criminality. She was one of the first defence lawyers to raise an S45 Modern Slavery Act defence and is selfless in sharing her hard-won knowledge with other lawyers, law enforcement and the CPS. She has a particular interest in child criminal exploitation and is regularly instructed on county lines cases. And the winner is
Philippa Southwell.
I think we can go live now to Philippa Southwell. Can we see her? There she is. Huge congratulations. Very well done, Philippa, on your award.
Thank you.
I want to ask you a little bit about your work. You've done so much work around human trafficking. Do you feel that the Modern Slavery Act as well is properly understood by police and prosecutors? What can be done?
I think a lot more still needs to be done. I mean, we've come a long way since 2015, but you know, I get cases on a daily basis referred to me where things have clearly gone wrong for the most vulnerable in our communities, and we do, you know, that affects so many different professional frontline sectors, NGOs, lawyers, police. We still need to do a lot of training in the area.
And I imagine that many of the particularly children and young people that you represent, you have to fight to make sure that they're seen by the system as victims rather than criminals. And are there cases in particular that come to mind when you're thinking of that area?
Well, I think that it's not only educating professionals and making the criminal justice system view these exploited children as victims rather than defendants. And it's quite an interesting position where I sit, because we have this dichotomy where somebody is a victim but is also being processed through the criminal justice system. And how do we protect and safeguard that young person? And it is a very fascinating developing area of law. But it's also not only getting the professionals to acknowledge that they are victims, but also getting that young person to acknowledge that they too are a victim. And human trafficking and modern slavery are big words, and getting that self-identification is actually the first step in the process.
And you talk about it all being evolving, and yet you were very, very quick to see the importance of the Modern Slavery Act. How so?
Well, I've been running non-prosecution, non-punishment principles for a number of years. We've had the Council Bureau of Trafficking Convention, which predated the Modern Slavery Act, which is a very new piece of legislation still. So we have, for many, many years, had safeguardings in place to protect young people and adults from being prosecuted for crimes they've been forced to commit.
Well, Philippa Southwell, really important work that you're doing, and it's been recognised tonight. So huge congratulations. Very well done on your LALY.
Thank you.
And so we've come to our 5th award of the evening, Legal Aid Barrister, sponsored by the Bar Council. And the first finalist in this category is Charlotte Bayati from Goldsmith Chambers. Charlotte is an immigration barrister and works tirelessly to highlight the plight of Tamil Sri Lankan refugees, including women subjected to sexual violence. She's been involved in a string of significant cases over the last year, including KV over the court's approach to medical evidence of torture. She's described as innovative and bold when making legal arguments, but humble about how inspirational she is to others, particularly women barristers. One QC says she knows immigration law back to front. She speaks only when there's something to say, and she's always right. Our second finalist is Richard Davenport of Citadel Chambers. Richard is a Birmingham-based criminal defence barrister who shows exceptional commitment to his often vulnerable clients who are facing serious charges, including manslaughter and rape. The work is relentless and unglamorous, but Richard always goes the extra mile, literally in one case where he made a 3-hour round trip so that he could deliver face-to-face what he knew would be distressing news to a suicidal client charged with manslaughter. The solicitor in the case says, "We believe Richard talked our client out of taking his own life that day." And finally, the third finalist for this award is James Stark of Garden Court North. James is described as a super barrister with a string of successful housing cases behind him, notably his 2019 victory in Samuels versus Birmingham City Council. James fought this case every step of the way, ending up in the Supreme Court. He also faced a battle over funding for the case, but James just kept going. Finally, thanks to his intelligence, doggedness and commitment, James secured what's recognised as a landmark victory in a time of austerity, which will help thousands of people in privately rented homes. And so, the winner is...
It's James Stark.
James Stark? Come in, James Stark. Are you there? There he is. Congratulations. Very well done. Great to see you. So, you're a super barrister, I hear. How does it feel to be called that? Now, I can't hear you, James. Maybe keep talking a bit longer and we'll try and fiddle with the sound, or is there something you can do at your end? Try again. Okay, I'll tell you what, I can't hear you, but would you like to put a thumbs up if you're feeling very happy? He's feeling very happy. Try talking again in case we can hear you. James, can you hear me now? I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to say goodbye to James, but a big congratulations. But I think we can actually see some of the judges deliberating for this award. Let's see what their reaction was and how they described James.
I think Super Barrister really sums James up, and I love the image that conjures up. James flying to the rescue to help someone in the midst of a housing crisis before flying off to save the next person. James is the kind of the barrister who gives the profession a good name, as he's everything you'd want in an advocate. So it's no wonder that his instructing solicitors and clients love him. Samuels is a landmark case, but what makes James special is that he brings the same level of skill and commitment to all his cases. Congratulations, James. You really deserve this award.
Oh, so well deserved, James. Such a shame. Yeah, another round of applause for James here. I'm so sorry we couldn't get through to you there, James, but we all send huge congratulations, and hopefully we'll catch up with you another time to talk through how you feel about it. But go and have a drink is what I'd say. Now then, we're on to our 6th award of the night, and the category is Family Legal Aid, sponsored by Resolution. Kate Hammond of Miles & Partners is the first finalist in this category. And Kate is managing partner of her firm and also runs her own demanding caseload. Most of her work involves local authority care proceedings where she acts for parents, children and guardians. Her successes last year include securing a protection order for a 10-year-old girl in a case where the judge said it was hard to imagine a child being at higher risk of FGM. Kate is praised for being a brilliant role model to everyone, from young lawyers starting out to her senior management team colleagues. The second finalist is Juanita Correa of Wilson Solicitors. Now, Juanita qualified as a solicitor in 2013 and is a member of the Law Society's Children Panel. She acts in care proceedings for parents and children, in private children law cases and in domestic abuse and abduction cases. A QC who worked with her on a Court of Appeal case says she showed incredible patience and empathy with a highly anxious client, going way beyond what professional duty required. A raft of clients wrote in support, including one who was so inspired by meeting Juanita that she's now decided to train as a family lawyer. Our third finalist is Krina Palmer of Duncan Lewis. And Krina is a family and childcare director at her firm. She has a background in criminal defence law, which equips her to deal with cases involving criminal and family elements. The work she does is difficult and sensitive. Most of her cases involve serious non-accidental injuries, often where a baby has died. Others involve allegations of sexual abuse or clients who've been trafficked. Her cases are culturally complex, involving honour-based violence, or have international elements. Krina also does her own advocacy and has been led by junior counsel and QCs. And so, the winner is
Kate Hammond.
So, Kate Hammond, are you there? Oh, and can we hear you, Kate? Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, fantastic. It's a relief to hear you, I must say, after we had a little bit of a technical hitch just a moment ago. Very well done. A lot of testimonials there. Mention you as a role model for younger lawyers. Why is it important for you to help the next generation and inspire them?
Well, I think it's a really tough job being a legal aid lawyer, whatever category you work in. And, you know, we don't get paid a huge amount of money, and I think, you know, the young people who are committing to doing this work, I think are just amazing. So if I can bring them on and inspire them a bit, then I'm very happy to do so.
And give us an idea of how the coronavirus pandemic has affected your work. Have you had to do any remote hearings, for example?
Well, lots. I've been on one today. In fact, I've been doing a hearing by Microsoft Teams, and it's challenging. There's difficulties as you've just experienced just now with hearing people, or people not being able to be seen, or their Wi-Fi drops out, and it makes access to justice quite tricky. We're doing more hybrid hearings now, where the most vulnerable people are physically attending the court buildings, which I think is better, because at least then they have immediate access to their representatives.
Yeah, a really tricky time, and you've done so well in dealing with that on top of what's obviously very challenging work, at which you're excelling. So Kate Hammond, huge congratulations. Go and celebrate. Very well done.
Thank you.
Now, we're at the halfway point in this evening's 12 awards, and so it seems like a good point to have a little bit of a pause. We're going to have a trip down LALY memory lane and remember some of our favourite moments from the 17 previous awards ceremonies. Let's have a look. Oh, some familiar faces, really happy memories. I hope we're all back in the room together sometime soon. And now, before we move on to our final 6 awards, let's have a quick look at what our audience is saying about the awards on Twitter. We've had a few in, so let's just read out some of them. We've got a picture there. There's Carol Storer. There she is, all dressed up, ready to go with her for the lockdown LALY. She's got the fan. I remember getting that fan a few years ago. Still got it. Well done. Another tweet that's come in from Julian Bill. There he is, all dressed up with his, rocking his LALY t-shirt and his bow tie there. Fantastic. Hello to you, Julian. And what else have we got? We've got, oh, that is so sweet. That's Paloma, 10-week-old Cavapoo puppy, I'm told. Oh, I think that's a picture of me in the background. Very good taste, Paloma. Apparently she's been waiting her whole life for Legal Aid Lawyer of the Year award. So your dream come true tonight, Paloma. Good to see you. Do keep those tweets coming in, won't you? We're going to be catching up with a few more of your comments a little later on in the ceremony. But it's now time for our 7th award, which is Legal Aid Firm Not-for-Profit Agency, sponsored by the Law Society. And the first finalist is South West London Law Centres, and this is the UK's largest law centre. Last year, it helped over 8,000 people defend their rights. It gives advice on everything from housing to employment to welfare benefits to immigration. Pre-lockdown, its housing team was on duty rota at 3 South London courts, providing last-minute expert advice to keep people in their homes. One housing client says, "Before I came here, I was suicidal. I couldn't bear the thought of me and my son on the street. Now I know there's a place I can come where people are willing to help. Second up is Simpson Miller. Now, Simpson Miller is a national law firm with 500 staff and 9 offices across the country. It does a wide range of work, but is particularly known for its public law expertise. Simpson Miller is praised for its innovation, client care, and specialist legal knowledge. Its nomination is supported by umpteen clients and organisations who single out many of its lawyers by name for special mention. Staff are praised for their consistent, unrelenting commitment to the welfare of clients. One client says, "You are not only my lawyer, but my doctor, teacher, and guide." And the third finalist in this category is Cartwright King Solicitors. Cartwright King has 11 offices nationwide with over 100 staff and a strong commitment to legal aid and ensuring access to justice. Its services include criminal defence, family, mental health, court of protection, immigration and community care. It has an in-house higher courts advocacy department to give continuity of service. Even before lockdown, the firm was taking a lead on technology, with all its offices offering video conferencing, and at its core is the belief that the rights of individuals must be protected. And so the winner is, David.
South West London Law Centres.
And so let's go live to South West London Law Centre's representative, and I believe it's Patrick Marples. Congratulations to you.
Hello.
Hello to you. So give us an idea of what this award means to you, but also what you think it'll mean to your colleagues as well.
I mean an amazing amount to all my colleagues. I'm so proud of them for all the hard work and kindness they show to all the clients we see. It's an amazing boost for all of us. Thank you so much.
Give us an idea of where they might all be watching tonight.
They're all watching from home or from the office. Unfortunately, we couldn't all get together, and we've got an online chat on Teams, so we're all egging each other on.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you've all got a great cause to celebrate tonight. Give us an idea of in what way COVID-19 has changed some of the cases that you're seeing. Has it had an impact at all?
It's changed some of the cases. We've got many more inquiries from many more people. It's changed the demographic of the people who are coming. We are kind of worried that some of the most vulnerable people aren't contacting us anymore. And so I think in the coming months, we must do much more to try and get engaged with that cohort again.
And what would you say the main challenges currently facing you and your clients?
It's all the connectivity and access and making sure that we are still open and available to everybody.
Of course. Well, huge luck with that. And very good to see you tonight, Patrick. Please send our good wishes and congratulations to all of your team. Really well done.
Thank you.
So let's move on now to our 8th award of the evening. Regional legal aid firm, not-for-profit agency, sponsored by the Legal Education Foundation. And the first finalist in this category is KRW Law. This Belfast-based firm fearlessly acts for people from all communities who've suffered loss or injustice as a result of Northern Ireland's long history of conflict. KRW is Northern Ireland's largest criminal defence, human rights and public law firm, and it fights on behalf of the bereaved and survivors for truth and accountability. It does groundbreaking work on complex multi-death inquests, judicial review and claims against public authorities. Its clients include families of those killed in the 1974 Birmingham and Guildford pub bombings and many victims of historic abuse. Turpin Miller is our next finalist. Turpin Miller provides legal aid, housing, debt and immigration advice across a wide geographical area, stretching from Reading through West Berkshire and Oxfordshire. Turpin Miller works closely with the local charities to prevent homelessness and pre-lockdown ran the duty housing scheme at Oxford County Court. A support agency worker says they are literal lifesavers. Another says the people we support can present as chaotic and struggle to manage their appointments. Turpin Miller never give up trying to help people who need their service. Their staff are described as relentless, approachable, friendly and supportive. And our third finalist in this category is Ison Harrison, incorporating Harrison Bundy. Ison Harrison has a string of offices across Yorkshire and beyond, providing legal aid services in family, clinical negligence, criminal defence, immigration and public law. It prides itself on building strong links to the communities where it's based. Among the leading lights in its publicly funded work is the legendary Leeds-based solicitor Ruth Bundy, who spent 4 decades building an unmatched reputation as a specialist in inquest law and is known for her expertise and unwavering support for bereaved families. And the winner is
KRW Law.
And so, from KRW Law, I'm joined by Niall Murphy. Niall, very good to see you. Huge congratulations. And before we talk about your work, Niall, I just want to say, I know you've had a really difficult time with COVID-19 yourself, haven't you? I don't know if you want to talk about it at all, but we just want to say it's so good to see you looking so well. I know you've had a terrible time. If you can tell us a little bit about it, please do.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was one of the first people to with this virus. I had been in New York. I've been invited to attend the Brehon Law Society dinner just before St. Patrick's Day. So I was out in around the 10th of March. And then when I came home, I began to feel the symptoms on Friday, the 13th of March, a day I'll never forget. And after probably 10 or 12 days self-isolation, I was admitted to hospital, and I had deteriorated to the extent that my lungs weren't working good enough, and I was placed in an induced coma where I remained for 16 days. I was on a ventilator really to keep me alive, and throughout that time I was completely oblivious. But I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank my partners and all of my colleagues at work, the help and support they give me and my family, something that I'll never forget. The support from clients, from colleagues within the legal profession, all over the world, in fact. But most importantly, I'd like to take this public opportunity to thank the healthcare workers working on the front line, who really saved my life. The work that was undertaken in Antrim Area Hospital on my behalf and on behalf of others was Herculean, superheroes in my eyes. This generation will have to pay a very significant debt of gratitude to all of those heroes who have helped to save so many lives and who have really been let down by government. It's a disgrace how we have treated our NHS. One thinks of the inadequate personal protection equipment that healthcare workers have been sent out to the front line in, and it really agitates and aggravates. So I'm delighted to be here, and so happy to receive this award on behalf of our firm.
Well, we're so delighted to see you here and to see you back on your feet after what has clearly been a really traumatic time for you. So a huge congratulations. And it is the first ever regional LALY award that you've won here. Really important recognition for your firm, but also gives recognition to your clients as well, doesn't it? Who've been waiting so long for justice.
Well, you know, I've always said, and I had paused to say it again this week, that the work that we do, the work that all legal aid lawyers do, we are privileged. We are privileged that clients will invest in us their most sensitive and traumatic episode in their lives, and they invest their entire trust in their lawyers to progress their case and to attain whatever semblance of justice can be sought on their behalf. And you know, it is one of life's privileges to represent people in their hour of need, and it's something that I consider to be very precious and something that the utmost seriousness and attention goes with it. It's just a phenomenal profession to be able to work in.
And a quick word on how you think Northern Ireland's justice system is coping with the pandemic.
Well, we're all working in a new dispensation. We've all had to become accustomed with Zoom courts, non-emergency practice, attendance at police stations by Skype, by FaceTime. It's just unprecedented times. We have had calls. Our courts are only accepting emergency applications, and we have had calls to take emergency applications, most specifically with regards to the emerging scandal in our care homes and how they were left behind in terms of inspection and monitoring. So our courts are open, justice is accessible, and our practice, and indeed all practices here in the North, will continue to make applications and pursue the rights of our clients.
Well, Niall Murphy, as I say, a delight to see you looking well, and continue to go from strength to strength, won't you? And many congratulations to you and all of your firm. Very well done tonight. Thank you. So our next and ninth award is for Social Welfare Law, sponsored by Ticket. And there's a shortlist of 4 in this category. Firstly, Martin Bridger, Insta-Law Solicitors. Martin is one of the leading solicitors nationally for refugee children in cases involving detention or disputes over age. He's known for bringing complex cases which develop the law and protect basic rights. Martin's described as a man of great humanity. A barrister recounts Martin's response at a High Court fact-finding hearing when the young victim of domestic violence arrived with her toddler in tow. He recalls Martin cradled the child for some 4 hours outside the courtroom while the mother gave her evidence. He read the child the same stories over and over from only the 2 nursery books that were available. Secondly, we have Hazel Montgomery of Cartwright King. Hazel specialises in mental health work. Her nomination is supported by a range of medical professionals, including a consultant psychiatrist who says that she's a fan of Hazel's despite having been on the opposite side to her on occasion. The expert says Hazel makes a formidable adversary at tribunals, adding that Hazel fights the patient's corner to the nth degree. Another supporter says that she has a gift for putting patients with complex needs at ease. A Mental Health Act administrator says if all solicitors were as caring as Hazel, it would make my job so much easier. And the third finalist is Simon Mullings of Edwards Duthie Samash. Now, Simon is described as a legal aid warrior and ebullient force of nature. A housing caseworker of 20 years standing, Simon has helped shape housing law by taking cases to the appeal court and is a dogged legal aid campaigner. A charity working with homeless mums says his heart and humanity shine through everything he does. A former trainee says Simon is the best supervisor I've ever had, adding, he's dedicated to helping those pushed to the margins of society. Simon is praised for always keeping in mind the real-life consequences of bad decision-making. And the last finalist is Mike Norman from Bristol Law Centre. Mike is an expert in housing law in both England and Wales, handling possession proceedings, injunctions, disrepair and unlawful evictions. His clients are often intensely vulnerable, victims of trafficking and domestic violence or with mental health problems. Mike brings compassion and empathy to his work. When a vulnerable young woman was left without housing and sent to a police station because there was nowhere else safe to go, Mike stayed with her long past office hours. When a refuge place was finally found, Mike rang round to make sure that she had somewhere warm to wait until the refuge opened a few hours later. And so the winner is
Simon Mullings.
And so Simon Mullings joins me live for this LALY Award for Social Welfare. Huge congratulations. I don't know if you want to pick up a guitar and play in celebration. You've got a few behind you there.
I know. I don't think that would be wise. We've had a few drinks here, and yeah, no. I think probably just best to keep to the talking. If that's
okay, that's absolutely fair enough.
Ceremony this is though. What an absolute show it is. It's completely brilliant.
Oh, well, 20 years at the social justice coalface. Give us an idea of how you've kept going, how you've kept motivated.
Goodness me. Well, I mean, as you've heard so many stories, there's so many testimonials of just the wonderful lawyers tonight. And I think the thing that always shines through from the LALY Awards is that actually the work that we do is an absolute privilege. We have vulnerable people at difficult times in their lives coming to see us, and they put their trust in us, and hopefully we do our best then to take that trust, work hard with it, and try and get the right result for them. That's the sort of thing that gets legal aid lawyers up in the morning, because it's the right thing to do.
Well, you're clearly hugely appreciated in the work that you do. Before I let you go, I do want to say happy birthday. Is that right?
Thank you very much. Yes, 23.
23.
And, you know, I know. I started young in legal aid law, Anna, but yeah, thank you very much for that.
Absolute pleasure. And I can see a little hat behind that might be appropriate for a birthday occasion. I think there's a hat there with some candles on it.
Absolutely.
Go on, put it on for us. Go on.
I wasn't gonna put it on, but you know, as a great country singer Steve Earle said, if you want to be in the band, you have to have your hat on.
You do. That's so appropriate. Go away and enjoy a double celebration tonight. It looks fantastic. Happy birthday and congratulations.
Thank you very much. And well done to everyone.
Cheers. Now, our next award is for public law, sponsored by Irwin Mitchell. First on the shortlist in this category is Baha Atta of Duncan Lewis. Baha is Public Law Director at Duncan Lewis, running a team of 20 at its Luton office. She specialises in immigration work, including challenging unlawful detention, age assessments, removals and deportations. In February 2020, it saw her working through the night as she tried to stop the removal of clients who were about to be put on a charter flight to send them to Jamaica. It was a case which attracted intense media interest. Baha is described as a fearless advocate for human rights and of being at the forefront of bringing claims against public authorities. Dean Kingham of Swain & Co is the second finalist in this category. Now, Dean is an expert in prison law and his work is gritty, difficult and rarely popular. His clients include prisoners convicted of the most serious offences: murder, extreme violence, serious sexual assault and terrorism. These are cases which attract no public sympathy. Dean also advises and campaigns over joint enterprise. He's relentlessly unafraid to put his head above the parapet and is determined to ensure prisoners' rights are protected. A prisoner given an indeterminate sentence wrote, "As a result of Dean's overwhelming support, I'm now preparing for my release back into my community." And the next finalist is Zarina Mustafa of Tuckers. Zarina is described as a lawyer and campaigner known for bringing complex public law challenges on behalf of Terrorism Act prisoners. Her clients are often considered high risk and held in segregation in prison. One barrister says such cases test our commitment to human rights, but Zarina brings the same relentless resolve to fight for all her clients, whatever their background or their personal histories. One Category A prisoner writes, "Knowing I have someone sincere and competent to turn to for help has made my life sentence manageable." And the winner is
Dean Kingham.
So, Dean Kingham, can we see? There you are. Huge congratulations to you, Dean. Very well done on this award. Give us an idea of what it means to get this recognition from the LALY judges and also for other lawyers to be recognised in this category that some would say represent unpopular client groups. Dean, I don't want to stop you mid-flow, but we can't hear you at the moment. I don't know if it's something that you can click on your laptop computer. Do you want to try talking again and see if we can hear you? No, it might be our end. Keep trying. No, I still can't hear you. That's so frustrating. Oh, well, I tell you what we'll do is I think we've probably got a little film about you. Let's see a little bit of film about Dean, the judges, when they were deliberating, what they had to say about him, and we'll see if we can fix that line if we can.
Not all legal aid lawyers act for clients who attract public sympathy or even deserve to attract public sympathy. But for the rule of law to have any meaning, we need lawyers like Dean. We need lawyers who dedicate themselves to protecting the rights of prisoners, regardless of how guilty they are or how heinous the crime. As a prison lawyer, Dean isn't going to win any popularity contests, but he has won a LALY, which is extremely well deserved. So congratulations to you, Dean.
Yeah, as Fiona says there, huge congratulations to Dean. I'm so sorry we couldn't get through to him, but I hope he's celebrating at home. I hope you can see us now. Very well done to you, Dean Kingham there. And yeah, big round of applause. And so we reach our penultimate award of the night, and it's Legal Aid Team, sponsored by Access Point. Now, firstly, Duncan Lewis Public Law Team is up. This Harrow-based team of solicitors, trainees and caseworkers are dedicated to holding the government to account and upholding the rule of law. Known for bringing cutting-edge cases involving asylum seekers, refugees and trafficking victims, their urgent legal challenges are often a client's last hope of securing safety. The team take pride in being bold and fearless on behalf of often marginalised clients. A women refugee charity says what stands out is their commitment to individual clients, but also their desire to effect wider change and to end immigration detention altogether. The Joint Council for the Welfare of Immigrants is the second finalist in this category. JCWI's 7-strong all-women team are known for their strategic litigation and the strength of their casework, which included securing leave to remain for over 100 families and individuals last year. They provide clients not just with high-caliber legal advice, but also holistic and compassionate support. An asylum seeker client says, "I can't describe what it feels to be treated like a human being. It made me in tears, and this is the first time I've been in tears, not by torture, but by kindness." And another says simply, "I owe my life to JCWI." And third up in this category, a Community Law Partnerships Traveller Advice Team. CLP's Traveller Advice Team is led by partner Chris Johnson, supported by solicitors Sharon Baxter and Parminder Sangera, and administrator Emma Westwood. The team is described as small but formidable. The work they do is legally challenging and often brings practical difficulties, as clients may have limited literacy and no fixed abode. A QC says the team represent everything that's good about legal aid practitioners. They provide truly outstanding service to the most vulnerable members of our community in the face of drastic legal aid cuts and incessant legal aid agency bureaucracy. And the winner is
Joint Council for the Welfare of Immigrants.
And so let's talk to Nicola Burgess from JCWI, who joins me live. Nicola, I hope you can hear us and I hope we can hear you. Very many congratulations. Talk to us a little bit about your team who won this award. Tell us about their ethos, first of all.
Thank you so much. You can hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, amazing.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm so proud about each and every member of my team. They work so hard, day in, day out, long hours, under immense pressure, as we all are working under legal aid, but they go above and beyond for each and every client. I'm thrilled that we've won.
And also extra pressure in a pandemic, I assume. How has coronavirus affected you?
It's affected, obviously, us as an organisation and each and every one of our clients, and I think this is really how we've set ourselves apart from others. We've gone above and beyond. We've sent kind of formula to clients with young children who were self-isolating because they were at high risk. We've paid for clients' accommodation at the same time as running judicial review challenges and obtaining high court orders for suitable accommodation. I think we've really set ourselves apart.
And you've had most extraordinary testimonials coming into us, but what do you think the difference is that you can make to vulnerable clients? How would you express it?
I think we listen, we take the time, we develop a rapport. It's not just about taking instructions. It's about building a relationship with each and every client. We speak to our clients, I speak to some of my clients more than I speak to some of my family members. It's that kind of level and detail of a relationship, so they trust us and they know that ultimately we get the results.
Well, you do get the results. Nicola Burgess, you and your team, hugely appreciated. I hope you can go and celebrate somewhere now. Have you got a plan for the rest of the evening?
I've got a glass, so I toast each and every one of you. Congratulations,
Absolutely.
everyone.
I think that glass is a good plan. Very well done. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. And so our last award of the night is our Outstanding Achievement Award, sponsored by Matrix Chambers. Now, as some of our audience may know, there's no shortlist for this award. Our 2020 Outstanding Achievement winner is a housing lawyer. They have all the qualities that you'd expect in a great lawyer: commitment, dedication, extensive legal knowledge, tactical nous, courage and compassion. But they also have something else, a quality which can turn a good lawyer into a truly outstanding one: sheer doggedness and belief, an absolute refusal to give up when they believe a client is being wronged, and seriously wronged in the case of Terry-Ann Samuels. Now, we heard earlier about Terry-Ann's case, which is typical of the kind of life-changing work our winner is known for over their long career. All litigation is hard fought, but in this case our winner faced not just one opponent, but two. Not just Birmingham City Council, but also the Legal Aid Agency, and it took a 5-year battle to secure funding for the case. Now, many lawyers would have given up, but not our winner. Thanks to their ultimate success in the Supreme Court in the Samuels case, thousands of people now have the chance of a home. I'd like to say that the length of the battle made the victory sweeter, but the truth is it just made it more exhausting, which is another reason why it's so important to celebrate tenacious lawyers like our winner, who, when they pick up the cudgels for a case that they believe in, they just refuse to put them down. Our winner is a partner at and co-founder of Community Law Partnership in Birmingham. Our winner of the 2020 LALY Outstanding Achievement Award is Mike McIlvaney. So we're going to be hearing from Mike himself very soon, but first we're going to hear from some of his supporters, including Terry-Ann Samuels herself.
Lots of very good housing solicitors, but Mike is outstanding.
Mike has been involved in some of the leading housing cases.
The legacy of his cases will help many people in years to come.
Mike is always special, to be honest, like that. Mike and his team is special.
Mike is generous with his time and has an endless amount of patience.
That level of competence and confidence and rock-like support, together with his unflappable personality.
Mike never goes looking for test cases, never goes hunting for glory. Rather, these cases are simply a product of his dedication to every client that he represents.
He brings cases that other people probably would turn down because he thinks they're worth a go for the vulnerable people that he represents.
Nobody didn't believe in me, to be honest, and he did.
When many of us might wish not to be doing emergency homeless work on a Friday night, Mike regularly is there with people in the office who otherwise would be street homeless.
He acts like so many legal aid practitioners for some of the most marginalised, vulnerable, excluded members of our society. He treats them with immense dignity and respect and gives them a voice.
Not only does Mike take on his own cases, but he works extensively with the more junior members of the firm.
Congratulations, Mike. An Outstanding Achievement Award that is very well deserved.
Here's to the future and continued success.
Thank you very much. Everything what you've done for me, you've done for my kids.
Well, you heard it from Terry-Ann Samuels herself just there, just how special she thinks Mike is. Now, the man himself is taking a well-earned break in a rather remote spot off the coast of Ireland, and apparently one of the attractions of the place is its lack of internet connection. So sadly, we're not going to be hearing live from him tonight, but he has sent us this little film.
Hello everybody and good evening from a beautiful west coast of Ireland. I'd like to start by saying a big thank you to the LALY judges for selecting me for this award. Thank you. I've been a legal aid lawyer for the best part of 30 years now, and over that time I've seen many changes. But one thing has remained constant, and that has been the constant attack on legal aid. We know about the advice deserts, and we know about the areas that have fallen out of scope, including benefits. I've been concerned recently with a change in the institutional mindset of the LAA, and with the development of what seems to be a culture of denial, where the opinions and views of legal aid caseworkers, sometimes unqualified, count for more than those of experienced practitioners. Take the case of Terry-Ann Samuels. Funding was refused on no less than 7 occasions before it was finally granted, and only then after permission had been given in the Supreme Court, and only then under threat of judicial review. As the Black Lives Matter movement comes to the fore, we as legal aid lawyers know full well that it's our black and ethnic minority communities who are disproportionately affected by funding refusals and funding cuts. Something has to change. And it's against this backdrop of cuts to funding that it's become more difficult in recent years to attract new legal aid lawyers. But it's not impossible, and we've been working closely with our local university to secure student placements. Some of those students have gone on to become our trainee solicitors. We've also received funding for an additional trainee from the Legal Education Foundation, so thank you for that. I hope that over the course of my career, I've been able to make some small changes for the better to the lives of the people in the community around me. I am, however, absolutely certain that with proper and properly funded legal aid scheme, this new wave of talented, socially committed and technologically savvy legal aid lawyer will make a big difference to people's lives, will make society a better and fairer place to live in. Finally, I would like to say a big thank you to my friends and colleagues, people that I've worked with in the past, and I'd like to thank also my fellow partners. I'd also like to thank those professionals that I've worked closely with over the years, particularly Zia Narby and James Stark. My achievement is your achievement. Thank you again, and I hope you have a very pleasant evening.
What a view, how amazing. Well, thank you, Mike, and congratulations again on being our Outstanding Achievement Award winner. Now, before we wrap up the Lockdown LALY Awards, we're just going to take a look at a few more tweets from our lovely audience. I've got a few of them here. And I see here 2 young legal aid fans. They are keeping their fingers crossed, you can see in that picture, for their uncle Paul Keeley and his colleagues at South West London Law Centres to win the award for Legal Aid Firm Not-for-Profit Agency of the award. And that finger crossing worked. Fantastic. And here we've got Cherie Green, LAPG co-chair Nicola McIntosh celebrating at home when Cherie Green won the inaugural LALY Award for Mental Capacity. Cheers, Nicola. And finally, this is a lovely picture taken in our green room a little bit earlier of Legal Aid's answer to Posh and Bex. It's barrister Mary Rachel McCabe and barrister in waiting Ian Brown. Lovely stuff. So that was some of the reaction on Twitter, but we would all love to hear what you've made of the evening. I'm going to start by asking David that. What have you made of tonight, David?
It's amazing, seeing the work that all these dedicated professionals do for the clients that are so, thankful, and a lot of them are vulnerable and they're challenging systems that need to be challenged. And it's inspiring work to see it. It's inspiring work to be part of it. And I hope their recognition gets heard and they get more funding, because this work really does make a difference to the judiciary and to people's lives like me. So, thank you to everyone who's been a part of it.
I'm sure that will mean an awful lot, especially coming from you. And David, it's been such a pleasure to have you here tonight and for helping make this evening so very special. Your involvement really does mean an awful lot to us. Do pass on our best wishes to your family and to your mother, won't you? Thanks very much for being here. Now, before we go, I would like to thank everyone who's helped make this event happen. It's a real testament to the strength of Team LALY and the social justice community that between us, we've been able to create the first ever virtual LALY Awards. Apologies if some of you we couldn't hear, but it was very nice to see you anyway, celebrating at home. And I very much hope that normal LALY service will be resumed by next year, and I really look forward to seeing you all again in person. But for tonight, thank you and goodbye.
As one. Photo bomb!
Although we can't be with you in the spirit, although we
To the colleagues